All right, let's talk about mindfulness, but forget the expensive apps, the silent retreats, all that noise. Today, we're cutting right through it. We're going to get to the heart of what it really means to be present. And guess what? It doesn't have to cost you a thing.
You're here, but you're not here. Wow. Just let that sink in for a second. Have you ever felt that? Come on, you know you have. You're physically in the meeting or sitting at the dinner table with your family, but your mind, it's off somewhere else completely. It's replaying some stupid argument from yesterday or already stressing about tomorrow's to-do list. Your body's in the room, but your head is just gone. And look, this isn't just some vague feeling we all get. It's a hard fact. Scientists have actually studied this, and the number they came back with is kind of staggering, 47%. That's how much of our waking life, nearly half of it, our mind is just wandering. We're living on autopilot. And here's the real kicker. The research is crystal clear on this. When our minds wander, we're just plain less happy, period.
So, okay, what's the antidote to living half your life on autopilot? Well, you've heard the word a million times, mindfulness. But let's be honest, that word has been slapped on everything from coloring books to yoga pants. It's so easy to get confused. So right now, let's strip away all the hype, all the myths, and get down to what it actually is.
Okay, first things first, let's clear up what mindfulness is not. It is not about emptying your mind. That's impossible. It's not about forcing yourself to be calm when you're not, and it's definitely not about just thinking positive thoughts or trying to escape your problems. Nope. The reality, it's so much simpler. It's about three things: paying attention, doing it on purpose, and doing it without judgment.
That's it. That is the whole game, right there. Paying attention to the present moment, on purpose, without judgment. The real power isn't hidden in some ancient secret. It's right there in the simplicity of it. Just noticing what's happening right here, right now, and approaching it with a little bit of curiosity instead of a whole lot of criticism. And hey, this isn't just some feel-good philosophical idea. It's backed by some seriously incredible science. We're talking about how this simple act of paying attention can literally change the physical structure of your brain. Yeah, for real. So let's geek out for a minute and look at the proof. So get this, neuroscientists put people in MRI machines, and they found that a regular mindfulness practice physically builds up parts of your brain. I'm talking more gray matter, more brain power in your hippocampus. That's your hub for learning and memory. And more gray matter in your prefrontal cortex, which is like the CEO of your brain, in charge of good decision-making and keeping your emotions in check. You are literally, and I mean literally, upgrading your brain's hardware. But wait, it gets even better, because while some parts of your brain are getting stronger, other parts are getting a much-needed downgrade. The amygdala, that's your brain's little alarm system, the source of fear and stress, it actually shrinks. The practice also helps to quiet down something called the default mode network. You can think of that as that nagging, overactive narrator in your head that just will not shut up. The result? The alarm bell isn't ringing all the time, and the anxious chatter gets turned way, way down. So, okay, how does all this brain science stuff actually play out in our day-to-day emotional lives? Well, it all boils down to this incredibly powerful little formula. See, pain is going to happen. It's a non-negotiable part of being alive. But suffering is a totally different thing. Suffering is what happens when you take that pain and you multiply it by how much you fight against it. And this really breaks it down perfectly. Let's say a tough emotion, like anxiety, shows up. On autopilot mode, our normal mode, what's our first reaction? Resistance. We push it away. Our inner voice is screaming, I shouldn't be feeling this, get it away. And the result? We just suffer more. We add shame on top of the anxiety. Now look at the mindful mode. The anxiety still shows up, but instead of resisting, we get curious. We observe it. The inner voice changes to, what does this actually feel like in my body? And the outcome isn't that shame spiral. It's acceptance. It's creating a little bit of space. You see? You're not getting rid of the pain. You're just dropping the struggle with the pain. Okay, so that's the why. The science is there, the logic makes sense, but the big question is, how do you actually do it, right? So let's get super practical. I'm going to give you two simple, powerful techniques you can literally start using the second this is over. All right, this first one is like an emergency brake for a spiraling mind. It's called the 5-4-3-2-1 technique. Anytime you feel your thoughts spinning out of control, just stop wherever you are and silently to yourself, name 5 things you can see around you. Then 4 things you can physically feel, like your feet on the floor, the chair against your back. Then 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and finally 1 thing you can taste.
I'm telling you, it works like magic. It pulls you right out of the chaos in your head and anchors you back into the real world right now.
Okay, now for a practice that's a little deeper. And it starts with a kind of weird question. Can your kitchen sink be a monastery? I know it sounds a little crazy, but stick with me. Can a totally mundane, boring, everyday chore actually become a powerful place for finding peace? The answer is a resounding yes.
Here's how it works. Next time you find yourself doing a chore you usually just zone out for, like washing the dishes, try this. First, just set an intention. Tell yourself, for the next 5 minutes, I'm just gonna wash these dishes. That's it. Then, bring all of your attention to it. Really feel the warm water on your hands. Notice the suds. Listen to the clinking of the plates. Watch the dirt wash away. Now, here's the most important part. Your mind will wander. It's what minds do. The second you notice it's wandered off, that's not a failure, that's a win. You just gently, without any judgment, bring your focus back to the feeling of the water. That's it. You're not just doing a chore, you're literally practicing presence.
So, when you put this all together, what's the big takeaway? What's the point of all this? It's about finding the pause. It's about creating just a little bit of space between what happens to you and how you react to it. Because in that tiny little gap, that's where your freedom lives. And that really brings us to this final, powerful truth bomb. If you can't be present washing dishes, you can't be present for your life. Think about that. Presence isn't something you save for a special occasion, like a vacation or some fancy retreat. It's a muscle you build, and you build it in the boring, ordinary, everyday moments. Because honestly, if you can't train yourself to be there for something as simple as doing the dishes, how are you ever going to be fully there for the truly important stuff? For the big moments, the beautiful moments, the people you love most? At the end of the day, your life isn't happening in the past, and it's not waiting for you in the future. It's happening right now, in this breath, in this moment. So I'll just leave you with this one question to take with you. What's the very first thing you're going to notice when you decide to show up for it?